and this is definitely one that I've had my eyes peeled for.
So it'll be very interesting to see what sort of loadout Almost Kids decides to go for. There's been, of course, in Splatoon 1, there was a pretty big difference for a long time in the loadouts of Western teams compared to Japanese teams. So we'll have to see what the differences are in these two teams. The meta is still very early on. The game is still relatively new. It's been out for less than a month. So we'll have to see what they bring in. It looks like they're going to be running with 2 Tenatechs, a Rapid Blaster, and a Tri-Slosher, so not too much different from what we've been seeing here. On the side of No Fear, we are going to be seeing a Jet Squelcher. That's arguably the most sort of random thing that we're seeing. The Splattershot Jr. still is very good in that it has the Ink Armor and can build up that Ink Armor very, very fast, so I would not be surprised if that Splattershot Jr. was running any sort of special charge to try and build up that Ink Armor very, very quickly.
I definitely think Jet Squelcher is a good pick on this map. If your positioning is good, especially for a game mode like Tower Control, if you've got the positioning, exactly what we just saw right now. Riku wanted to get on the tower, but the Jet Squelcher just says, no, this is my tower, you can't. You throw a Toxic Mist, you just sit back, you use the Tenta Missiles, and you shoot at the tower, and there's not a lot they can do about it except throw a lot of Splat Bombs at you, which DJ is doing a really good job avoiding, actually avoiding the Inkjet too, so really good job from DJ coming out, avoiding a lot of this flak getting thrown in his direction.
Yeah, able to get a kill there with the Tenta Missiles, but in the meantime, the tower's still pushing. He's able also to get a kill with that main weapon, the Jet Squelcher, but 3 down for Almost Kids. That's going to finally give No Fear some time to breathe and start to get map control back in mid. That's part of what the Jet Squelcher is here for, actually, is to get those Tenta Missiles up as quickly as they can and try and keep map control in their favor. We also have Riku here on that Rapid Blaster, of course, any sort of blaster, but especially the Rapid, good for tower control because you can keep peppering the tower with shots and stay relatively safe using that range. But for the moment, it looks like both of these teams relatively evenly balanced. It was 2 down for both teams, now 3 down for Almost Kids, so maybe it'll be time for No Fear to have a push of their own, get past 91.
And that's exactly what's happening right now. We do have Rocket Tech looking to take the initiative here, trying to dodge a lot of the shots being thrown at him here. Doing what he can with the Tri-Slosher. Unfortunately, a Splat Bomb really well placed by Taku, able to take him out, and it looks like Almost Kids is able to completely respond to that push that Almost Fear just had on them.
Yeah, Taku playing that the entire way. Unfortunately, he's going to go down to LSDJ there, but he threw that bomb and then went the other way with his shots to try and bait the Tri-Slosher there into going into the Splat Bomb, which is exactly what happened. But now Almost Kids is really starting to pop off here. The Inkjet just going to end. The bomb going to almost go off, but almost get Riku while he's going to be able to get away. And now Almost Kids really has that map control that they need. They're now sharing in the Ink Armor as well, so they're looking to be in a good position here. No Fear needs to start reclaiming some of that map control, but they just keep losing members.
And Almost Kids is absolutely doing a good job getting this push in, but every time Almost Kids get this push in, No Fear just seems to do a really good job of responding to that and stopping their push. This is definitely one of their strong suites that we've seen from this team, is they're able to just stop these pushes and halt them completely. But Almost Kids is, it looks like they might have caught on to what's going on here from No Fear, and they've actually got a really good push down. 3 down, and they've got the tower down to 26 points, moving into the second checkpoint. This is pretty much what they want right now.
And the checkpoints for tower control in Splatoon 2 are sort of a double-edged sword for both the attacking team and the defending team. The attacking team, of course, has the option to jump back with that tower just sitting there as we see the game end, with Almost Kids taking them, and will get the lead in the series 1-0. But basically, the defending team is drawn to that checkpointed tower like flies to a little bit of honey. They just are trying to swarm that tower effectively to try and get people off of it while it's stuck. And that allows Almost Kids, who is able to outduel No Fear like they were in game number 1, the chance to get those 3 or 4 down situations and push the tower the rest of the way with relative ease.
And so Almost Kids just played really, really strong there. They'd had a lot of troubles winning those team fights and pushing in the tower, but once they had the opportunity, they just started snowballing, and they were actually able to take it all the way to the end and knock out Team No Fear. And we're going to be going on to game 2 now. Rainmaker on the Reef, which we did see earlier. It was a very, very... Actually, you guys didn't see it because the stream went down, but it was a very, very quick end from Team Olive. And, maybe we're going to see if one of these teams can give us a show that we missed last time around.
Yeah, it's possible that we're going to be waiting for a substitution here. Area coming in for Almost Kids, but as you mentioned, the Reef, a very, very interesting map for Rainmaker to be played on. There's a couple of alleyways that you can use to take the Rainmaker up to that pedestal. It's not that far of a distance. We've seen most of these teams take it over to the left-hand side when picking up the Rainmaker and go up that straight path over by where the car is, which basically is sort of a closed-in hallway, but it gives you the option of allowing your team to push forward ahead of you, get those kills, and allow you a pretty safe passage up to the Rainmaker. So while it's very easy to get up to the high numbers, say the 30s or the 20s or even the 10s with the Rainmaker, no push like that is really, really safe. So we may very well see both teams getting pushes past 20, and both teams going back and forth with that Rainmaker, just based on what we saw in game number 1.
Yeah, the thing that I really like about Rainmaker on the Reef is that there's a way to the left on the street where you can take it up to your enemy's pedestal, and it's relatively safe. If they have some sharks set up in the right spot, it can be a bit hard to actually push in there. But if they don't have that, the only other option that you have is pushing up the main ramp, which is that makes for a lot of really good and fun team fights, to play in and especially to watch. And the weapons that are coming out from these teams, we have a rapid blaster. Team Almost Kids actually opting for a lot of medium to short range weapons. With these weapons, we're going to see a lot of really aggressive and fast-paced gameplay, which is pretty much what the Reef is really good for.
The teams almost traded roles here in terms of what weapons they brought. No Jet Squelcher, but now it's going to be No Fear having the Rapid Blaster instead of Almost Kids. Nice kill there on Taco. I believe that was a double kill to take down Rocket Tech. He will fall, though. And now it's going to be Almost Kids bringing instead a Splattershot Jr., which will go down there. That being Area, who they brought in as a substitute. Looking for the kill there on the Rainmaker, but LSDJ can't find him. So Rico Ball with relatively safe passage here on the Rainmaker. They've already gotten a good amount of map control, and it does look like they'll be taking it over by that alleyway, over to where the car is. So it looks like Rico Ball going to wait just a little bit, wait for the rest of Almost Kids to come join them in that push, and they will stay alive as long as they can.
And Almost Kids really strong right now. Oh, DJ actually able to take out 2 people. That was really important. And let me tell you, in this entire tournament, I've never seen a first fight at the start of a map, tip sides that fast. There was 3 people down in the first, I think, 15 seconds on the side of No Fear. And Almost Kids were able to actually, make a really good push off of that. They got it down to 31 points. And the Rainmaker was reset, so really good work coming up from No Fear, able to stop this push on Almost Kids. Now it's back to square one. 2 people down on the side of No Fear, but Almost Kids, they've got the response coming back. They said, you stopped us before, but we're going to try again.
Yeah, smart strategy by No Fear there. That's the only thing you could really do with all the map control Almost Kids there, is just wait for the Rainmaker to reset. Taku there just barely getting out of the way of that splat bomb, able to get LSDJ, but Rocket going to be able to get the kill on the Rainmaker and shut that down. That's 3 down for Almost Kids, so if there was ever a time to push that Rainmaker, it would be now. They're probably just going to let it either reset or just sit there for a second while he pops that ink armor and tries to push forward here. They need to get map control back. That's one thing they're severely lacking in, and I don't think they can afford to make a push yet without any map control, because they're basically being backed into a corner, and that's going to cause Rocket to go down.
And Almost Kids absolutely still doing a good job trying to keep this lead up, but No Fear just got a really good fight off of there, and now it looks like this is their chance to push in. They're going to do what they can to try and push over into the street side here. Almost Kids actually, wow. I believe that's Akuma, if I said that right. Actually found a really nice pick on the Rainmaker holder there, which is pretty much what they needed to actually stop that push. And now it's back to a stalemate, a fight in the middle. No Fear actually dropping 2 players now. Almost Kids back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Arikuma helping to facilitate that whole thing. Nice pickup there by Rikubal. The Rainmaker was about to reset, and now it looks like they're just going to be pushing straight up the ramp. They do have the option here. They have a path. They're getting so close. This could be a knockout. Does he have enough turf? And he will. He'll get the knockout while Dr. Prodigy desperately tried to get any shots on him with that Splattershot Jr., but I think the spread and the range on it was too wide and too short, respectively. So Almost Kids, with just the thinnest lane of ink, is going to be able to get the knockout onto No Fear. Huge pickup in that game for them.
And there was just a little bit of purple ink on the side of the Rainmaker pedestal. If that wasn't there from that push earlier in the game, that wouldn't have happened, because they could have dropped down to whoever was holding the Rainmaker, and they could have stopped them from getting that knockout. But because the pedestal was painted from prior in the game, he was able to find the knockout there, which is just ridiculous.
So now No Fear has their back firmly pressed against the wall. It's going to take a reverse sweep to knock out one of 2 Japanese teams in this tournament and a former InkStorm champion, Almost Kids, who's looking to make it into day 2. The winner of this match, again, will take on Team Olive tomorrow in Losers Round 3. Elsewhere in Losers Round 2, Serenity able to take out Deep Blues 3-0. They will await the winner of Testa and In Control Yami. After Yami took Game 1, Testa has taken the next 2 games, and they are 1 game away from securing their spot as the other Japanese team that will be moving on to top 8 in day number 2. But for now, we move on to Splat Zones on Muscle Forge Fitness, where No Fear attempts to make what could be their last stand.
And Testa actually did take the game 4 off of In Control Yami, so Testa is moving into the top 8 there. But yeah, Splat Zones on Muscle Forge Fitness, we've seen this, a couple times before as we're rolling through the same map list in this Losers Round 2. A lot of what you're going to see on this map is weapons that have good verticality control. You're going to see some octo brushes, you're going to see some sloshers and some blasters. Weapons that are able to shoot up and down and still be effective at it with, the flanking weapons left and right. It's not too often that you see some chargers or some squelchers or stuff like that on this map. Rapid blaster is very common, but I'm interested to see what the compositions are from these teams as they try and, deal with this map and mode combo.
Yeah, I would not doubt seeing a rapid blaster, maybe from both teams. Having that splat bomb rush is going to be so nice for splat zones, and also just having a ranged component to your team comp. That's going to allow you to sit back, maybe on the grading, maybe on the other side of the trench there, and get some free kills, just picking people off to where they can't even reach you with their weapons. So, of course, we're likely still going to be seeing the 10 attacks. The inkjet is going to be huge, especially if people clump up on the zone itself. Killing them is going to put even more ink onto the zone and give your team an advantage. And then, of course, the Tri-Slusher and maybe even the NZAP or Splattershot Jr., maybe some shooter that has the ink armor giving you some protection as well to try and make sure that you can stay alive in the middle of the map, because it's splat zones, everybody's going to be focused squarely on the middle part of that map, and the other parts of the map aren't going to be nearly as contested.
All right, here we go. Almost Kids trying to secure their game 3 and their win into the top 8 bracket. But No Fear's got a response for that. If they wanna secure their spot in the top 8 bracket, they're gonna have to go for a reverse sweep on the Japanese powerhouse here, and that's what they're gonna be trying to do in Game 3. Splat zones on Motion Forge Fitness.
As predicted, we are going to see a rapid blaster on both sides, but on the side of No Fear, we are not going to be seeing a Tri-Slusher. Instead, Rocket can be bringing the Splat Brella, a relatively new addition. It was not around for main gameplay at the start of Splatoon 2, but it was recently introduced. Of course, it was always in the campaign, but a pretty interesting weapon that can provide some pretty quick turfing. It has, I believe, the Sprinkler, which can be very, very good for splat zones and help provide you some free turfing.
It has Sprinkler and InkStorm, and InkStorm is incredible on this map because the zone is one, big rectangle, and the InkStorm hitbox actually covers it completely, and it's really, really nice to push back into the map if you don't ever have control. And speaking of not having control, that's exactly what is happening on the side of No Fear, who has that Brella. They've got the InkStorm. They're going to try and make the push here, but down to 40 points on the team, or on the side of Almost Kids. Rocket doing what they can, but they're taken out by the Tri-Slosher. Almost Kids looking really, really strong right now, down to 30 points, not a single point on the board for No Fear. No Fear's in a really rough spot right now. If they lose this game, they're out of the tournament.
Almost Kids basically camping on the zone here. The Brella not doing too much aside from building up that InkStorm. We see Dr. Prodigy trying to pop that inkjet. It's going to be 2 down though on the side of No Fear, so it looks like this one is being close to locked up here by Almost Kids. They take the zone back, and now they're in single digits here. That's a full wipe! And that should do it. Almost Kids securing their spot in top 8. They will be moving on to losers round 3 tomorrow to take on Team Olive.
The cleanest ending you could possibly ask for in the last match to get you into top 8. The team wipe at the end when the timer's ticking down from 10 points. That's just perfect. It's at that point you just you did a good job. That's exactly what you needed. And now we do have Almost Kids as well as Testa, both the Japanese teams that entered the tournament. They're both going to be in the top 8 going against other teams that we have so far. In the winners bracket, we have Synergy and Extermination and Silver Shanks and Saikai versus Set to Destroy X. Team Olive will be facing up against Almost Kids tomorrow. And down in the last match of the losers bracket, we have Serenity going up against Testa. And let me tell you, I've been really, really enjoying this tournament so far. This has been an incredible